From far and wide, Oilers fans, this is Dolynny TV. This is Dolynny TV, guys. A big welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. And it's as good a time as any because we're coming off a very disappointing loss yesterday to the Ottawa Senators. You know what, we're sitting here licking our wounds again, and there's still that possibility, that chance mathematically that the Oilers make the playoffs. But on the same rated hand, we sit here and start looking towards the future, and that's what I believe Terry Jones of the Edmonton Sun did with an article recently since that Ottawa game, in which post-game Terry Jones asked Ken Hitchcock about a return as Oilers head coach. Now this is a complicated as it gets situation for a head coach that's on contract with the Oilers for, I think, well, it's been reported 2 more years if I've got my math correctly. But here's the problem. Is that as a head coach? Is that as a head of something within the organization? You're not sure, I'm not sure, we're not sure. But you sit here and you have to almost analyze the job that Ken Hitchcock has done with the way Terry Jones put it. And I mean, that's the way anyone around the NHL and cynical fans would put it. Half an NHL roster, right? We've got pretty much, you've got McDavid, Nuge, Draisaitl, you've got Chiasson, who's proven to be a guy, and then really what do you got? Like, Lucic is a 4th line quality player at best right now. Zach Kassian exploding, but he's a 3rd line quality guy at any real rate of his career. I mean, you've got Tuffbaum, Larson, Russell, Nurse, sure, but we all have our gripes with each of them. Sekera, Benning, they're bottom 6 pairing guys right now in their set of the career. They're not roster making by any means, even though Andrej Sekera is making 5.5. You've got Mikko Koskinen on a $2.5 million contract in his first year back in the NHL since what, 2012? You're sitting here doing the math with me as I name off the names on the roster, and you're, oh my goodness, this is not a full NHL caliber roster, and we've known that all year. I mean, I was laughing that the Senators are pretty much a walking AHL team, same with the New Jersey Devils. Now, we just have star power, and they do too, but you compare those two teams when they have everybody in the lineup. I mean, Ottawa traded their guys, but you compare New Jersey to Edmonton, it's the very identical situation realistically. So, okay, where do we stand? What does that mean for Ken Hitchcock as Oilers head coach and his future, right? Well, the first thing you do is you look at what he's done this year for us, and it's been all right, because I'm going to get to somebody else's coaching record this year and the past few years with this Oilers team, and we're going to sit here and realize, oh, maybe Ken Hitchcock hasn't done as bad of a job as we think he has in some games, and maybe we should give him the chance to come back, A, as fans, and B, as an organization, even when the new general manager gets in here. The asterisk aside is, of course, how we finish this season. So bear with me. If you're watching this video past March 24th, it may not have as much bearing as it did today when I uploaded it. So Ken Hitchcock has coached 55 games as Oilers head coach. Man, oh man. Wow, okay. That's nuts to me, but 24, 24, and 7. Remember, this is a team that's hit the schneid a couple of times under Ken Hitchcock. This is a team that's gone 9-2-2 under Ken Hitchcock. This is a team that started Cam Talbot 3 or 4 straight games before trading him, right? This is a team that had Ryan Spooner. This is a team that, I mean, all over the map kind of deal, right? This is a team that was playing Darnell Nurse 30-plus minutes a night. So you sit here and you realize what we've had under Ken Hitchcock in his tenure, and how about 24 wins, 24 losses, 7 OT losses. So that's good for what? 48, 55 of our 73, 74 points on the season? Well, suddenly it's not as bad, right? So what did Todd McLellan get us, I guess, the question. He's a 500 coach. You know what? He's sitting here not doing too bad. He's done all right for us. And in his career, he's been mostly a winning coach, right? He's always been an above-average coach. That's obviously why the Oilers chose him as such an easier replacement for Todd McLellan. But now, okay, we have to sit back here. I know when we fired Todd, everyone was saying Todd's not the problem. Here's the issue. You look at it the way it goes. Todd McLellan in Edmonton, his 4 parts of 4 seasons here. He was 31-43 his first year with 8 OT losses, 47-26-9. That team got hot, stayed hot, and got the job done all year. I'm not kidding anyone. That was a miracle run just based on how dark of the days we had witnessed for the past 10 years before that. So the Oilers, that year aside, Todd McLellan really did not have it as an Oilers head coach. 31-43-8 that first year. The third year, 36-40-6. And this year, 9-10-1. So he's the closest to 500 he had been since 16-17. So let's compare, right? Obviously, Ken Hitchcock doesn't hold much of an edge, but 55 points as compared to 19 points, it's pretty comparable. It really is. But remember, we've seen the loss of Drake Caggiula, right? We've seen the transformation of the roster, and somehow Ken Hitchcock, in what has been a write-off season at every turn, has kept this team in it to this point. He has kept this team around the playoff picture, right? Obviously, the pundits, the analysts, everybody says, oh, the Oilers still have a shot. The last time you heard that in March was under Todd McLellan in that huge run we went on. The NHL has since changed. Our roster not as adept at doing that this year as in 16-17. Yet Ken Hitchcock has coached us 500 hockey. Well, the merits of him returning aren't as bad as coming into this video reading Terry Jones's headline saying Ken Hitchcock wants to return as head coach and thinking, man, there was a time he wanted to step away. Obviously, he sees something in this roster that is there. And it's very easy to see what is there. There are several key guys up and down the lineup who will give 110 every night, who want to go out there and make a difference, but it's the components of the lineup not equaling the sum of the machine needed to win, obviously. But you sit there. That's all right. You know what? We've done a lot better than a lot of you guys were thinking we were going to, a lot better than I thought we were going to, a lot better than any of the analysts thought we were going to in January, February. Well, you know what? I'm all right taking the loss this season. I've come to terms with it, but sit here still within the playoff picture March 24th. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. So Ken Hitchcock is head coach. I guess the merits of it. What do I think? I'm thinking Ken Hitchcock is head coach of the Edmonton Oilers going forward. Obviously, it's going to be the decision of the general manager who gets hired by Bob Nicholson. But hold on a minute. I'm going to hold the asterisk there. Hopefully it's not Bob Nicholson who hires the new general manager, because at the end of this year, hopefully Nicholson and the Old Boys Club is axed and we are rolling, we are good there to start absolutely fresh, new culture, top to bottom. A team is not built bottom to top, it's built top to bottom. R.E. Bob Nicholson's comments on Tobias Reeder, my friends. However, that aside, Ken Hitchcock is a guy you can look at who provides stability, and you know what Ken Hitchcock is. There is no, oh, this guy's been an assistant for 6 years. He's gone on and coached 1 season, went back to being an assistant. It's time we give him a chance. Or he's been a successful AHL coach. He's been very good at his job over his career in the AHL. It's time to give him a chance. I know he's a little bit of an odd duck, but he could really get the job done. But you know what I mean? It just doesn't work out 90% of the time that way either. So for the Oilers, the best option is almost to stick with Ken Hitchcock at this point. See what he can provide you next season. And if you have to fire another coach, fire another coach. They're expendable. They're coaches. It's the way the NHL works. Same with GMs. Same with anyone in an organization. You want to blame Toby Reeder for being a problem? He was expendable at the deadline, yet you kept him. So let's just not go there. Don't need to go back there, but you're getting my point, right? Ken Hitchcock is low risk to return to the Oilers next year, right? Like, what the merits of losing him or keeping him aren't that bad. He's on contract. It's another paycheck you don't have to pay to find someone else if you're Daryl Cates. It all makes sense to me keeping Ken Hitchcock on as coach. Now, yes, you got to go out there and get him a roster that can perform, and I think a roster that can perform under Ken Hitchcock, guys, look out. With Connor McDavid attached and Leon Draisaitl attached, forget it. This team is an instant contender. You make 1 or 2 tough moves. All it takes is a general manager who's going out there willing to part with Yamamoto or Puljujarvi to move Sekera or Lucic full money and get this roster shaping up a good second line forward. If you're planning on keeping Chiasson, you need a bona fide second liner for Nuge on that second line, or what I'm talking about, a combo piece, a $4.5 million guy who can step up to the first line when Zach Kassian isn't the answer, or can come on down, steady Eddie, find Chiasson, find Nuge, and keep this rolling. Because honestly, if you found another guy with three quarters the passing skill of Draisaitl and even half the grit and determination of Zach Kassian, you would have yourself one hell of a first-line player. Guys, that's my merits on Ken Hitchcock. I am up on out of here as always. You know, it gets awkward when I try to leave, so I'm going to let you go. We'll catch you in a bit.